Hi, so I wanted to make a video kind of talking about our 140T and 145T cameras from Data Video, okay? Um, these are the 140 and 145T. They're the HD-based T versions of the 140. So with this camera, you don't have any outputs. You just have your HD-based T out here on both. Again, this is the 140 and this will be your 145. Okay, the 140 is the first generation, and then after that they made the 145. Biggest difference is you can see here RS422 now is RJ45. On the old one it is a DIN connector for only 232. With this one, the 145T does have auto tracking capabilities. The 140 does not. So those are your two main differences: is the connector on the back, and then this one has auto tracking capabilities, as you can see here, and the 140T does not. Okay, those are main two differences between the 140 and the 145T. Now, another thing too, just to note, is depending on what you're using to power on the cameras, okay, you'll most likely have a receiver or a mobile switcher that does HD-based T. I'm going to go over a couple on our website depending on what you have. Okay, you could have the HPT 50, HPT 30, you could have a smaller version of the HPT 16, the 12, and HPT 11. The HPT 11 is no longer being made or discontinued. Replacement will be the HPT 12, but you also have a 16. As you can see, the only difference is this one's not 4K and this one's 4K. And then you have one for multiple. This does 4 cameras and this could do 3. If you have our mobile switcher that powers on the cameras as well, this is HS16 Mark II. As you can see, this is what it would look like. And on the back, we'll have your connections to plug into the 145Ts and the 140Ts. So just explaining, that's how you would power them on. I do have two here for the sake of this video. I have an HPT 12 and I have an HPT 30. Okay, what I want to explain is mainly how to connect to the web UIs of the 140Ts if you have the 140Ts or the 145Ts. Okay, normally all our other cameras you could connect to. On the 12, you see there is a DVI-P port here. Let me try to focus for you. You have a DVI-P port here. Okay, normally any other camera would be the one cable from the HD-based T connected to your receiver. From the DVI-P port of the receiver, you could go straight to your network and access the web UI of the camera. For the 140T and the 145T, you cannot do it that way. Since this is the smaller version of all our cameras, it is a small camera. What they had to do to make it small is separate the DVI-P connection or the LAN connection from the main board. So as you see here, HD-based T, and then on the right side, you have your LAN DVI-P. This is the 145T. On the 140, same thing, HD-based T, you have LAN on the right side, which is a DVI-P. So if you wanted to connect to the LAN or the web UI of these two cameras, you would need a second cable connecting from the LAN on each camera connected to your network switch. So at this point, you would need 2 cables if you plan on accessing the web UI. Highly recommend you do have these connected to the network, because any updates for these cameras, you will have to connect to the LAN to update the cameras. Secondly, for the 145T, if you want to kind of fine-tune your auto tracking settings, you will need to connect to the LAN and connect to the web UI so you can do that and log into the web UI and access the camera there. Okay, so again, essentially this would be the one cable for powering on the camera and controlling the camera. You could still power on and control the camera. I don't want you to think you can't control the camera. I'm going to show you here what I have with the workflow using RS422. Okay, the only thing is recommend having a second cable for the LAN so you can update the camera and then fine-tune auto tracking on the 145Ts. Just a reminder again, to update these two cameras, you need to be connected to the LAN on both cameras so you can update the cameras, okay? This one will not take a USB updates. There is no USB ports on it to update, so it will take the LAN. Now, just showing you from the HD-Base T, I have the 140T connected to our HBT12, okay? From the 12, I have on this side HD-Base T, which is powering on the camera over there. Then from here, I have the RS422, and this is connecting to my RMC180 via RS422, other words, serial control, okay? So I still have control with that one. This 145T camera is being connected to this HBT30. I could have combined both cameras on here, but I just want to show you two different products. And this one has HD-Base T here, and I could connect 3 cameras. If they were other cameras than not the 145T or 140T, I would be able to use this DVI-P port here, and I could connect this to the network, and then from there I could connect to the web UI as the camera for the computer. But again, just with the 140 and 145Ts, you cannot do that. I would have to use a second cable. So real quick, just showing you from the HBT, this is the 30. HBT30 has 3 inputs, and HBT50 has 4. But on the HBT50, you also have SDIs out from it, okay? But HD-Base T is coming here, powering on the camera. Then from here, you do RS422, plug it into your controller, RMC300 for reference, and I have control of both cameras, okay? Just gonna show you here. And here, I have control over the second camera. So you still have the one single control solution to control with the controller. But again, if you want to access the web UI and do any updates and fine-tune auto tracking on the 145T, connect to the LAN, okay? So from there, I'll show you how to connect to the LAN, and then it'll show you how you can use our DVI-P tool to find the cameras on the network, log in, and then essentially show you can log in, and any updates you need to do, you essentially do from there, okay? For now, let me pause so I can connect these to the network and then start from there. Okay, now I have the LAN connected to my network switch. Sorry, I'm really spaghettied in. And then I have this connected to the LAN switch. So this is the 140T again, connected via LAN. And this is the 145T connected via LAN to my network switch, okay? So again, just to reiterate, I'm using the 12 for HD-Base T to the 140, and also RS422 from it, coming from this HBT12 into my RMC300A. Then for the 145T, I'm using the HBT30. From there, going RS422 out from it, going into this switcher. If you have the HS1600T Mark II, the same concept is you have it powered on by the switcher, right? So your switcher is the one giving your cameras power, and you have control with the HS1600. So once you have your cameras powered on with this switcher, all you would need to do is the same thing, is just connect from the LAN on the back of your 140T or 145T to your network, and then that is how you will access the web UI for your 140Ts and 145s, okay? So with that being said, to access your 140Ts, they should be on DHCP from factory. Depending on how long you have your cameras, you might have old firmware. If you have an older firmware, it might not be on DHCP. So with that, I have my remote here. When you access the remote in the OSD of the menus, you'll see both 140 and 145T share the same OSD menu. All you would need to go down to is network settings for both. And, well, let me exit. Do it again. Okay, so for both, there is an extra step here because one has auto tracking and then this one doesn't. But essentially, you would go to network settings on both. Okay. Then from there, click on network setting and just confirm that DHCP is on. Once you confirm on both that DHCP is on, let me go to the 145T. Yep, DHCP is on. Once you confirm both 145 and 140T is on DHCP, it will give it an IP on the screen. So if you saw there, let me show you that one more time. In network settings, it will show you the IP there for both. So on that same setting, what you could do is type that address out on a web browser, okay? So the IP you have there on the screen, you type it onto your web browser, or here's another tool that I'll show you as well while we're at it. If you go to datavideo.com and go on the search over here, type out DVIP, press enter. You will need to look for this here, DVIP protocol control. Go to downloads, software, go ahead and download this. You're going to download it and you're going to extract it twice. After the second extract, you're going to install. After it's finishing install, it's going to run, and once you're done, it will look like this. Okay, and as you can see here, the cameras are being found on the network, and so is the RMC300A. So with that there, you see the IP there. Yeah, let me go back to the camera just so we could go there. You could grab that IP 192.168.5.212. 192.168. Nope. .5.212. And this is your first camera. This will be for the 140T. Username is lowercase admin. Password is the same. Okay, so this is how your 140T web interface would look like, okay? So this is your preview, then you have configuration, and you have all these things you could do, okay? Then for the 145, let's go back to the 145. And the IP is 192.168.5.127. Just confirming you see it on the DVIP tool. Yep, 192.168.5.127. So let's go do that. Okay, this is the web interface for the 145T. Password and username. Username and password is the same. Admin lowercase. And admin again. Then you log in. This is how the 145T web interface would look like. And you have camera setup, auto tracking, and you have video output, audio stream, network system, and all of that. This video, I'm not going to that. I'm just showing you what you have. For now, I just wanted to show you how to connect the 140s and the 145T versions of those cameras to your network while still having RS422 control with either your receiver that you're using, whatever receiver box you're using, or your HS1600T switcher. To connect to it via LAN, you still need to have that second cable running to your network, and you could have it there. Here on the RMC300A, I have serial, and if you wanted to do DVIP, you could as well. I have it in the system. Since I have serial on, 1 through 8 is automatically serial ports. If I go to 9, that is where you have the 145T and the 140 over DVIP connection. So if I go to 9, I still have control over that camera. When I go to 10, I still have control over the 140. So I'm controlling those two cameras over the network. If I go back to 1 and 2, I'm connecting it over the serial cable, which is coming from this receiver and this receiver into the back of the RMC300A. Again, not going over that, just wanted to show you how to log into your 140T and 145T while using any receiver boxes or the HS1600T. Again, hopefully this video is helpful and not too confusing regarding how to connect the 140 and 145T. If you have any questions, just email support@datavideo.com. We'll be glad to help you out. Thank you so much.